Welcome back to my channel. It's still your baby girl, Gloria. You know how we do it on this channel. Please subscribe. Today, I've got somebody all the way from the United States of America. Hey, USA. She's got a YouTube channel. That's the name of her channel on her side. So don't worry, you know how we do it. Let her just introduce herself first before you run to her channel. So can we meet you, please?
Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever the time is in your side right now. So my name is Mercy Necker. I'm a mom of two. I'm a nurse here at RN, and I've been in the States for a couple of years now.
Health, I know you pay. We have free health. I call it free health. Although some group of people have to pay maybe 600 and something, just have to pay something not too much when they apply for their visa until they have citizenship. So how is it in the US?
I think even before you ask me this question, I think you already know what's there.
I know.
Because it's not like I don't even know what to say. One of the most expensive things in the US is the healthcare. It is expensive. I'm not even gonna lie. On the average, most people pay at least closer to $500, $400, $500 every month for their family for healthcare, and that doesn't cover like your eyes, it doesn't cover dental, it doesn't cover, anything that requires specialization or like a specialist, it doesn't cover that. I'm talking about general medicine, and that also doesn't cover for the most parts your prescription. Lots of times you most likely would need to do like a copay or something when you go in. So basically a copay is your insurance. Okay, you go in to see the doctor, and that's saying, okay, for this visit, we're charging you $300, and your insurance, based off whatever, they're going to pay $250. All right. So your portion of the bill is $50. So you have to pay that money before you go in to see the doctor. All right. So health insurance here is crazy expensive. I'm not even going to lie. All right. My husband used to be in the military before, and we never really felt the pain, because to be honest, like the insurance from the military is like so good. All right. I never went in one day to the hospital and they say, oh, you have a copay of $20. I never. But when he got out and we went to a regular insurance from his workplace and all that, every single time we go in, there's something we have to pay. And our monthly bill, I believe, is closer to $400 every month for family. So, and no, health insurance, it's expensive. I was so shocked when I had my baby, and the bill that came in the mail. Of course, even if your insurance is going to cover whatever they're going to cover, right? That's still going to bring the bill to you and show you the breakdown and everything.
Okay.
And the bill that came in for my first child was over $20,000 that was charged. For my second child, it was closer to $10,000. So that goes to show you that, I don't know, when I hear people saying they're coming to the United States to have their kid, I'm like, oh God, you guys must be balling, because
wow, yes.
I don't know how they pay that. I don't.
Wow.
And my second kid was lesser, because after the first time around, like this time I'm comfortable. So I opted to stay in the hospital for 1 day versus 2 nights, right? 1 night versus 2 nights. And with my first kid, since we're a bit, we had to go in, they had to monitor him, he had to go to the NICU and all that. So that's why the bill was that much. You understand? So for my second child, it was pretty much easier than the first, and everything came closer to $10,000. But even at that, if you do the conversion, it's a lot of money. So when people say they're coming to the United States to give birth, I don't know how they do it, but they have to be comfortable to do that, because healthcare here is not cheap. It's not. Yeah.
Wow. That's actually scary. There's this comedian, is Gina. So she's a British, but I think she's now based in the US. She was doing a comedy and she said, if she has a fracture and her leg is like off from her body,
I'm gonna patch it up.
She will get the leg she will book 2 seats for the leg and she will fly back to the UK to get it fixed.
Yeah, no, it's expensive. And then if you're so unfortunate and you have to go to the ED, oh God, best believe you're gonna be paying for that for a long time. Especially, it's even more painful when you go to the ED and then they don't really do much for you. It just turns out that sometimes you get a bill of $1,000, $2,000 for almost, like, I don't want to say almost nothing, but you understand, for something that you think it shouldn't be. You might just go in and then they'll give you saline and then maybe do like some draw some blood and do some tests and all that, and then you get a bill of 1,000 plus. Like,
Wow.
how does it come to that? Yeah. No, it's all about the money. It's
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This is a very delicate topic because some people can take it personal, but if you're not comfortable to speak about it, that's fine.
Mhm.
We've heard so much about racism. It's like that is one of the fear, one of the phobia for most of us. We don't want to go to the US because of racism, because of gunshot. How is it you be living there? How is it generally?
Okay, this is a very sensitive topic, like
Yeah,
you
it's
said,
sensitive.
but I'm still gonna talk about it because I
Okay.
mean, if you don't talk about it, if everybody don't talk about it, then who's gonna talk about it? All right. So I don't know about you, but I'm gonna speak to this using another example. Remember when it was the COVID period and every time, literally, when you turned on the news, it was COVID, this numbers like 100 people dying, like mass burial, and all that. So personally, I try to stay away from mainstream media as much as I can, because I feel like sometimes they feed you like this information, and in no time you begin to basically leave that information, act it out, and it consumes you. All right. The reason I'm saying that is, I know social media, like social media, even like the actual TV and channels and everything, it's always gunshots, gunshots, gunshots. And to be honest, it's the reality here. It happens. But at the same time, I feel like they I don't know how to explain it, because I've gotten calls from people and say that said, I'm trying to move to the States, but I'm scared because of gunshots. I'm like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't think it's as bad as the media portrays it.
Paint it, yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I've been here, I've lived here for X amount of time, all right? And I've not known personally, right, anybody that has been a victim to that. Now, I'm not saying it does not happen, but what I'm talking about is in terms of percentage, in terms of numbers and data, all right? Let's be honest. In back home in Nigeria, right? So many things happen, but we live in denial because we don't have good data keeping. We don't have good record keeping. Just like during the time of COVID, and then people are like, "Oh, COVID is a scam. It's
We
not real.
don't have
Why is
COVID.
why is it not happening? Why is it not happening in Nigeria?" My mom called me and she was gonna talk. I'm like, this is the wrong person you are supposed to be talking to, because at that time I was working in a care facility and I had many of my residents dying from COVID.
Me too.
All right. So I'm like, the fact that you guys, like, it's not documented back home doesn't make it not a reality. All right. So lots of people die and we chalk it up to, oh, not sickness. Which sickness killer? Oh, I know. Then how do you not say COVID is a scam? That government wants to use it to eat money. Quite all right. We know say the government and everything, they're not the best and everything. You understand? But that doesn't mean it does not happen. All right. So gun violence is a thing, and I don't even think we want to go into my thoughts and process, an opinion when it comes to gun control and everything. It does happen, but like I've always said, and I also say, lots of these things are influenced by a variety of factors: the people you surround yourself with, where you live, area you live. And it's unfortunate that sometimes, like mass murders, like the whole thing that happened in Buffalo and the school, the elementary school, those are things you don't have control over. But then I don't know how to say that. How, like, when you compare the numbers, you know, it's alarming compared to other countries, yes, but overall, are you going to stop your life, you know, because of that? Are you going to say you're not going to go to store because of that? All right, you just do what you have to do. In my opinion, this is my opinion, do what you have to do, control the things you have to control, you know, get to live in a place, in an area that's a bit secured, you know. If you have to get like some protections yourself, if you have to do what you have to do to secure yourself, do that if that's going to make you feel more comfortable. All right, so that's on the whole violence and all that in terms of guns. And when it comes to racism, racism is true, racism is alive, it exists in the States, and I'm not even gonna lie about it. When I moved down to the States from Canada, that was my biggest fear. There's no joke about it. And now I'm not saying it doesn't exist where I'm coming from, but certain things that, I don't know, came alive, you know, to me when I moved here were things I didn't pay attention to. And it bothers me so much that because I have two boys, you know, lots of times you see stereotyping, you know, just because you're a certain color, you know, it's assumed that, you know, you're going to be bad. You're going to be, you know, you're not a good person. It does exist. I've seen somebody who put out an application or like an advert for a job, and I got called in for the interview, and immediately they saw me that like, oh no, it was a mistake. And no, yeah, so it does exist. But then the thing is, I don't know how to say this. It also boils down to you fight it where you can, but it's not like every day. You know, it's not like, I don't know how to say this. It's not like once you step out of your house, you're going to be hit by racism. You know, there are like good people, there are bad people, you know, there are people who are mean and all that. And at the end of the day, you do what you have to do, understand? And people are going to be who they're going to be. Okay, like I said, that was just like one example, but then I've been here going on 4 years. It doesn't mean like every single day, you know, I've experienced this, but what I can say is it does exist. And I don't know how much you're on social media, but recently this video have been going on about these kids who've been like to, I don't, is it Sesame Park or whatnot, and the one of the characters have been practically discriminating black kids and brown kids, you know, and just scaring them away. He or she, whoever is in that costume, is he's gonna the person hugs like other white kids, and then when it's a black kid, you go past the person. So it does exist. The only thing is it's not, I wouldn't, it's not as frequent as you like as we're thinking it is back home. You understand? So I don't know if that's the answer to the question.
Yes,
That's what
yes.
you're looking for, but like at the bottom line is it exists, you know, and you try to educate your family, your kids, as it's sad, but it's reality. You understand? And then you do what you have to do. Speak up when you can, fight it when you can. And then if an organization, if a body or a certain company is racist, basically take your business elsewhere. It's as simple as that. And then do what you have to do to like
Wow.
fight it.
Thank you so much. That's really interesting. In the UK, yes, there's racism, but generally it is very subtle. Very, very subtle, to the extent that even when you face racism, you'll be asking yourself, am I being petty, or is that racism? You can't even, like, you're not going to be able to pick your hand that yes, this is racism. Especially in Scotland, they are very, very friendly. You can hardly put your finger that this is racism. But if you're very particular and you just look like, that must be something, like I must have been treated differently, but it's not as much. Generally speaking, especially in Scotland, I've spoken with people in England, Northern Ireland, it's not as much. Very, very subtle. You may, maybe 1 in 100. Because of the issue of being able to sue them. If you can pick any evidence against someone that is racist against you, You can sue them and you win the case. It's not a joke. It's not even, they don't take it for granted at all. They don't tolerate it.
You can sue an individual?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
No, they sue for everything in the UK. You can sue for anything. You can sue anybody. That's why everything is very strict. You can sue for anything.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Actually, your boss or your manager will quickly call you and try to settle it and try to deny that must not be racist. Otherwise, they'll be in trouble.
Wow, that's interesting. It does exist here, like I said, but at the same time, I don't think, I don't think it's as bad as we think it is,
Yeah.
and all that. It exists, but like personally, if I want to count how many times I've experienced it, I don't think it's going to be more than I can count over 5 if I have to count. You understand? So that gives you an idea. But at the same time, it's still a sad situation that nobody has to, it's not something you want to experience or you want for your kid or family. No. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all that.
Right. Okay. So the final and the big one is, because in fact, this is one of the reasons why most of us, especially me initially, I've never loved the US just because of, the media and what we've just talked about. But when I hear the money, especially the travel nurses, it's like money ritual.
You know why I'm laughing? Because that's the exact word my friend uses. She's like, this is money ritual.
It's money ritual.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes I just wish I can just take myself. If I don't have young children, I will come and work in the US, travel nursing for 6 months and travel the world for 6 months, because I think I can be that rich if I'm in the US.
It's good money. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a lot of money. It's good money. If I think in my channel I've made a video where I talked about how much I earn as a new, that was last year, all right, and that was as an LPN. So in the States here we have what they call an LPN or LVN. Basically it's licensed practical nurse, so it's the lowest level of nursing, or nursing credential you can have. Then after that you have your RN, ADN, registered nurse, but that's gotten from a college. And then you have your BSN, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, which is the highest in terms of undergrad and all that. All right. So as an LPN, I think I made a video where I talked about how much I earn. And I think at that time, it was $29 an hour. And that was because I was going the traditional route. Okay. I know now I have a video that I shot that I've not put up, but basically I talked about how much I earned as an LPN working in an agency. All right. So here, when you talk about travel nurse, they have the travel nurse that travel from place to place, and then they also have agency nurses. So we are not travel nurses, but basically it's almost a similar principle of operation, where your facility or a specific facility that is short-staffed, reaches out to your agency.
Yeah.
For nursing staff, and then you go over to work there. So I think at the time, what I was earning as an LPN agency nurse is $40 an hour. Okay, and
where's my calculator?
And this was in the state of Delaware. So as an agency nurse, right? Why I'm stressing that is not everybody earns like that, And I do know also a couple of people, or over the state line in Philadelphia, about 45 minutes away from me, LPNs, they earn $50 for the same, but just a different state, all right, through the agency. And as an RN, if I'm still gonna be there, as mean I was gonna stay back, I would have been making $60 an hour.
Wow.
So it's a lot of money, and it's good money, I'm not even gonna lie, but that's agency. And when we talk about travel nursing, oh God, it's like blood money. There's no cost in it. So whatever you have is because lots of times the minimum you see people starting with travel nursing, you want to call $100, $150 an hour. And sometimes you get those bonuses, or they are in a tight corner, they can get somebody to come in. Okay, if you come in, we're going to pay you additional $300 or $400. additional to your normal pay just because they need like that in a fix, you know. And while the whole COVID situation was a sad situation overall, for some people, it was an opportunity to be explored. So for travel nursing, oh my goodness, COVID made it so hot. And up till now, I think like we still have residual effect from the whole COVID situation. And I personally think that's part of the reason why like the whole compensation in terms of nurses, travel nurses is that high. But honestly, whatever you heard, they are balling. Like they make over 100. Like I'm in the States here and I'm like, oh my goodness, if I can do travel nursing, I definitely would do it. 100 plus, over $100 an hour. That means in a day you're making at least $800, $900 in a day.
Wow.
Or $1,000. So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
So how is the tax like? Because we've talked about the cost of living, your rents, everything. I've not even mentioned about feeding. Do you think after everything, I know each state has different tax system, because I've searched, because I was like trying to think if I should move to the US. Because I know some states they pay 3 tax, some pay 2, some pay, so it's going to vary. So do you think after tax, do you still get good sum that will be enough to pay all these bills you've mentioned and still save at least $1,000, or I don't know?
$1,000? Oh God. That's so specific. See, I'm a believer. I think like throughout this video, it might look like I'm saying it depends, but that's just basically how I see things. Okay, I'm a believer of so many. I'm a believer of the results you get is as I don't even know how to say this. Basically, it's influenced by different factors. We can earn the same thing, Gloria. We can have the same job. We earn $5,000 a month, but we can decide personally to use it differently. And at the end, you might have $1,000 left, and then I'm like $1,000 in debt, right? So I personally believe it's all about choices. Now, when we come to taxes, just like you mentioned, you already said it differs from state to state. All right. So like in there are certain states in the US that don't have income taxes. All right. So basically, if you don't have income tax, that means at the end of the day, when your paycheck comes in, if it's $5,000, they're gonna cut other things. Nothing is free here. They will cut what they have to cut, but you are not going to pay income tax on $5,000 to the states. You're still going to pay federal tax. Federal tax is everybody. But then many states, they have income tax. But states like Texas, I believe, Florida, they don't have income tax. All right. But all those things are going to influence how much your total compensation is going to come up to at the end of the day. All right. And you being able, why I laughed when you said 1,000 is, to be honest, 1,000, it all depends on how much you make and how much you spend. Okay, there are some people that decide to take out a lot more from their paycheck every month. Then there are some people that barely, they don't want to take anything. So when that brings us back to agency nurses. Okay, as an agency nurse, the reason why you earn so much is because you don't get taxed on anything. So basically, your money to the week, you get it. So you earn $1,000 this week, you're gonna get $1,000. They don't cut no tax, they don't cut no insurance, they don't cut nothing. So every other thing that's supposed to be taken out from your paycheck in the regular workplace, as an agency nurse, it's up to you to make sure that you remit those money to the whoever is responsible. You understand? So that's also part of the reason why you earn so high, because you don't have no 401k, you don't have no health insurance, you don't have no taxes. But then you have to put those aside if you want to. But for taxes, we all know it's not optional. You have to pay your taxes eventually by the end of the year or something. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's also part. That's like, so it's give and take. So in when it comes to saving 1,000, I would say, to be honest, it depends on how much you spend and how much your income is. So combined income, if both of you are earning $70,000, $80,000, or want to say both of you are earning $6,000 every month, and as take home, right? at the end of the day, if you're able to keep your expenses below 4,000 or 5,000, then you have 1,000 left. But if not, man, you do what you have to do and hope for the best.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. That was very interesting. I've learned so much about the US.
I've been talking so long.
Well done, well done. I know, I can imagine. It's been a long video actually. Okay. Do you have any other thing you want to say in general? Like if anybody wants to move to the US, what will you say, or anything? Just any advice.
All right. What I want to say is, if you feel strongly about something, then go for it. You're gonna hear stuff, you're gonna see stuff on the news. As in, I'm not even gonna come on here and say this country is the best or it's not the best or whatnot, right? But at the same time, I wanna say, when you move over here, you are given opportunities that otherwise you probably wouldn't have back home. All right. And no matter how we want to quote it and everything, coming here affords you the lifestyle, that you possibly might not get, if you're back home. So what I'm just saying is, at the end of the day, if you strongly feel something, you really want to come, you really want to move over, do what you have to do. And I also have to say this, right? When you come in, it's not always going to be the easiest. It's not always going to be super rosy from the beginning, because I know lots of people, they have this whole perception and perfect picture that, oh, you come in, you start breaking in the dollars and all that. There is no tree behind us that makes the money. You have to work for the money. All right. When you come in, it might not be the easiest thing, but overall, in time, if you put in the work, things definitely get better. That's all I have to say. Chicken.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you calling. It's been wonderful, and it's been a long talk. Well done. You need to have a drink now. Drink of water.
Yeah, it's so hot over here. It's
all right.
The AC here, it's like so freaking hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for calling, and you've heard it all. Please, before you go, kindly please go to her channel. That's the name of her channel, Love Mercy Nneka. Go and ask her all the US questions. She's a nurse, she's a mom, she's in fact, she was in Canada before she moved to the US. So ask her question about Canada as well. We don't have time to do that just now. Go and ask her everything, and go to her channel. Please just tell her you're from Gloria. Just do that one thing for me, so that she will know that we have so many people. Go to her channel, please subscribe, watch her videos, and just support her. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in another video. Until then, bye.